Hi, my name is Mateo, and when I was 4 years old, I had brain cancer.
Mateo is very silly and funny. He is so strong and brave, and he got me through the hardest days of my life watching him go through cancer because he really was a true superhero. He's also an amazing brother to Nico and his twin sister Nicolette. Mateo started getting sick a lot. He was spitting up a lot and having bad headaches and stomach aches, and he was having a lot of tantrums. And at 4.5, of course, all kids have tantrums, but they were definitely unusual tantrums, and I could tell something was just not right. Then his eyes slightly started turning in, so I had taken him to his pediatrician, and she did see it at that time and referred us to an ophthalmologist. I started noticing all of this in November. And then by February, both eyes were really turning in that I had noticed, my husband had noticed, the preschool teacher had noticed. And then I took him back to the ophthalmologist. And the ophthalmologist did pictures of his eyes, and he said that his optic nerves are severely swollen. And at that point, I just said to him, "Do you think that he has a tumor in his head?" And he said, "Possibly, but I can't confirm that unless we do an MRI." So he immediately called my pediatrician, and they both agreed to send us to Cone Children's Medical Center to get his MRI done. And then they did his MRI at the hospital, and within 10 minutes, a whole slew of doctors came in and said that your son has a large brain tumor on his brainstem with a cyst attached to it, and that he had fluid building up on the brain, hydrocephalus, and if we did not do emergency surgery, that he could die.
It was the worst moment of my life. I mean, my daughter called from the hospital to tell us, and that if they didn't do the surgery in the morning, he probably wouldn't make it. And to hear something like that about your young grandson, I felt very helpless. I felt like it was a nightmare. I was going to wake up from a bad dream.
I couldn't even think. I just remember sitting down and holding onto my husband's leg, and I just couldn't even look up at the doctors, and I was just in complete shock. But it was just the most unimaginable news that a parent could hear, and I was in complete shock.
Really devastating. You can't even put into words what that feeling is like. And the fact that he needed that surgery immediately just made it even more intense. Such a beautiful little boy that he was, and all that he was going through and would be going through just really hit us.
So I found out about Friends of Karen through my social worker at Cone Children's Medical Center. She introduced us to Friends of Karen, and then I got a phone call from Marla, who was amazing and made me feel so comfortable right away, and she put me at ease, and she really just is like a mother figure, I feel like, and she gives the best advice, and she was so supportive, and I could not have gotten through this without her, because I didn't even want to say the word cancer, and I said, how do I even bring that word up to my children? Marla and Siobhan helped me during that time. Go helped me a lot when Mateo was sick and getting sick, and he would go and like get a bucket for me and sit there with me and like rub his back for me, and and they were both, even Nico said it, when you would leave with Mateo, we were always afraid you weren't going to come back with Mateo. So COVID presented new challenges because at that point, they were starting to shut down outpatient procedures in the emergency room. And Mateo had gone in for his second brain surgery. And I remember the doctors coming out saying, listen, your son needs a port. We could do it right now, but we can't wait because they are going to be shutting down outpatient procedures.
We were just so devastated, like everybody was, to hear that news. And again, we just realized right away how important it was to really not only help Jen, but be there for Mateo's brother and sister, Nico and Nicolette, and to do whatever we can, while we're trying to go through our own daily lives. But we knew what the priority was to help them, and we did all that we could. And again, Friends of Karen and other organizations just really helped the whole family in this very, very, very difficult time.
Family could not have gotten through it without Friends of Karen. the emotional support, anything they could possibly do to make it easier for the family and Mateo getting through cancer was unbelievable. They really are the best.
Just so incredibly thankful for all Friends of Karen has done, especially all the emotional support. And it's obviously an extremely important organization. Fills such a critical need for the family.
The greatest gift you can give to Friends of Karen this evening is your donation, because it assists families in need at such an unimaginable time with financial aid, emotional support, and all of these wonderful programs that Friends of Karen offers to these families.
Thank you, Friends of Karen.